Hello, this is day 45 of reading one canto of the Divine Comedy every day. We are on Purgatorio, Canto 11, which I will read from the Longfellow translation before giving some quick comments. Our Father, thou who dwellest in the heavens, not circumscribed, but from the greater love thou bearest to the first effects on high, praised be thy name and thine omnipotence by every creature, as befitting is to render thanks to thy sweet effluence. Come unto us the peace of thy dominion, for unto it we cannot of ourselves, if it come not with all our intellect. Even as thine own angels of their will make sacrifice to thee, Hosanna singing, so may all men make sacrifice of theirs. Give unto us this day our daily manna, withouten which, in this rough wilderness, backward goes he who toils most to advance. And even as we trespass, we have suffered, pardon in one another, pardon thou benignly, and regard not our desert. Our virtue, which is easily overcome, put not to proof with the old adversary, but thou from him who spurs it so, deliver. This last petition, verily, dear Lord, not for ourselves is made, who need it not, but for their sake who have remained behind us. Thus for themselves and us good furtherance those shades imploring went beneath a weight like unto that of which we sometimes dream, unequally in anguish round and weary all upon that foremost cornice, purging away the smoke stains of the world. If there good words are always said for us, what may not here be said and done for them by those who have a good root to their will? Well may we help them wash away the marks that hence they carried, so that clean and light they may ascend unto the starry wheels. Ah, so may pity and justice you disburden soon, that ye may have power to move the wing that shall uplift you after your desire. Show us on which hand toward the stairs the way is shortest, and if more than one the passes, point us out that which least abruptly falls. For he who cometh with me through the burden of Adam's flesh, wherewith he is invested, against his will is chary of his climbing. The words of theirs, which they returned to those that he whom I was following had spoken, it was not manifest from whom they came. But it was said, To the right hand come with us along the bank, and ye shall find a pass possible for living person to ascend. And were I not impeded by the stone, which this proud neck of mine doth subjugate, whence I am forced to hold my visage down, him who still lives and does not name himself, would I regard, to see if I may know him, and make him piteous unto this burden. A Latian was I, and born of a great Tuscan. Guglielmo Aldobrandeschi was my father. I know not if his name were ever with you. The ancient blood and deeds of gallantry of my progenitors so arrogant made me, that, thinking not upon the common mother, all men I held in scorn. To such extent I died therefore, as know the Sienese, and every child in Cabagnatico. I am Umberto, and not to me alone has pride done harm, but all my kith and kin has with it dragged into adversity. And here must I this burden bear for it, till God be satisfied, since I did not among the living, here among the dead. Listening, I downward bent my countenance, and one of them, not this one who was speaking, twisted himself beneath the weight that cramps him, and looked at me, and knew me, and called out, keeping his eyes laboriously fixed on me, who all bowed down was going with them. Oh, asked I him, art thou not Oderisi, Agobio's honor, and honor of that art which in Paris called illuminating? Brother, said he, more laughing are the leaves touched by the brush of Franco Bolognese, all his the honor now, and mine in part. In sooth, I had not been so courteous while I was living, for the great desire of excellence on which my heart was bent. Here of such pride is paid the forfeiture, and yet I should not be here, were it not that, having power to sin, I turned to God. O thou vain glory of the human powers, how little green upon thy summit lingers, if it be not followed by an age of grossness. In painting, Cimabue thought that he should hold the field, now Giotto has the cry, so that the other's fame is growing dim. So has one Guido from the other taken the glory of our tongue, and he perchance is born, who from the nest shall chase them both. Naught is this mundane rumor but a breath of wind, that comes now this way and now that, and changes name because it changes side. What fame shalt thou have more, if old peel off from thee thy flesh, than if thou hadst been dead before thou left the Papo and the Dindi, ere pass 1,000 years? Which is a shorter space to the eternal, than twinkling of an eye as unto the circle that in heaven wheels slowest. With him, who takes so little of the road in front of me, all Tuscany resounded, and now he scarce is lisped of in Siena, where he was lord. What time was overthrown the Florentine delirium, that superb was at that day as now 'tis prostitute. Your reputation is the color of grass, which comes and goes, and that discolors it, by which it issues green from out the earth. And I, thy true speech fills my heart with good humility, and great tumor thou assuagest. But who is he, of whom just now thou spakest? That, he replied, is Provenzon Salvani, and he is here because he had presumed to bring Siena all into his hands. He has gone thus, and goeth without rest, ere since he died. Such money renders back in payment he who is on earth too daring. And I, if every spirit who awaits the verge of life before that he repent, remains below there, and ascends not hither, unless good orison shall him bestead, until as much time as he lived be past, how was the coming granted him in largesse? When he in greatest splendor lived, said he, freely upon the Campo of Siena, all shame being laid aside, he placed himself, and there to draw his friend from the duress which in the prison house of Charles he suffered, he brought himself to tremble in each vein. I say no more, and know that I speak darkly. Yet little time shall pass before thy neighbors will so demean themselves that thou canst gloss it. This action has released him from those confines. So the souls of the proud do two things as they walk. Number one, they are bearing a great stone upon their back. For some, it's a bigger stone, and others a smaller stone, depending on how proud they were. And because they're carrying it on their back, it causes them, what? To bend, to bow, to look down and not up. They have to be moved towards humility instead of towards pride. And so they're forced to look down for the time being. And then the other thing they're doing as they walk is they're saying the Our Father. But it's not quite the Our Father. It's a strange version of it in which pride is expressly denounced and humility is exalted more than usual. Yes, that's inherent in the original Our Father, but here it's brought out more explicitly for these souls who need to hear it the most. Dante meets a number of souls here, some who are proud of their talents, who are proud of the prestige that their talents and art brought them. There was one who was good at illuminating manuscripts. One was another kind of artist, I think a poet. And then there are others who were great rulers, who held themselves in high esteem, or others that thought themselves better than everybody else because of their bloodline. In fact, that particular soul, Umberto, when he names his famous ancestor, Mark Busa points out that the ancestor's name is so large that it takes up almost an entire line of the poem, almost kind of symbolizing and hinting at the largesse, the dignity, the high honor that Umberto puts on it. By the way, remember that at the very beginning of this terrace, the angel put seven P's on Dante's forehead, the seven sins, and he says, be sure that you clean these off as you go up, meaning Dante is participating in this. He, just like the souls here, is going to have these sins purged from him. And so, again, we see these souls that are purging pride from themselves. They're bent over with rocks on their back. But Dante bends over too, because he has to look down to talk to them. And so inadvertently, for almost a sort of story-based reason, he still ends up doing the exact same thing that the other souls are. And so perhaps by that way is participating in the torment, so to speak, in the burden. And then lastly, the last soul that they speak to gives a long discourse on how fame comes and goes, that it's not that important, not something to be sought after or really gloried in, because it's very temporary. Even 1,000 years is nothing compared to eternal glory, compared to heaven, which is a good reminder for all these souls down here who were especially proud. and for Dante too, who, remember, is a poet and wants to have great fame. Virgil even tempts him with it time and time again. Well, once in the Inferno, he says, "Oh, come on, get up off your butt. That's not how you come to fame." And, Dante does want to be a great poet. And, he does become a great poet. It's right now he's becoming one. But getting fame and desiring it are two completely different things. And the one, happenstance. The other, we want to put aside. But anyways, I wonder if we'll see in the terraces to come if Dante will continue to inadvertently participate in the burdens that each class of souls is carrying out. I guess we'll have to see. That's all for today, though. I'll see you tomorrow.